Not all meetings can be planned in advance. Things come up, last-minute opportunities, work emergency, great ideas to discuss. But with people working from different offices or on the go, it can be impossible to get everyone in the same room when you need to meet. So be prepared. Use GoToMeeting, the powerfully simple way to meet and collaborate online whenever you need to, wherever you are. We use GoToMeeting for the show. It works great when Maddie and I meet over GoToMeeting. Guest schedules, show notes, structure, ads. We do it all. GoToMeeting.com. Go to Meeting from your computer or mobile device and launch your first meeting in just seconds. Share your screen to collaborate on documents, spreadsheets, projects. Do it all in real time. Turn on your webcam to see each other face to face. It's like meeting in person. You can tell if the person on the other line is paying attention or not because they'll be right there on your computer. Start your free 30-day free trial of GoToMeeting today. Visit GoToMeeting.com, click the Try It Free button, and use the promo code JAY. GoToMeeting.com, promo code JAY. Meeting is believing. For some, it's the first day they open the doors to their business. Others, when they get that first customer or when they're making enough money to quit their day job. These are the moments when new business owners get to say, I did it. It's National Start Your Business Month. This is your moment to shine, and the people at LegalZoom.com are ready to help. Start your LLC, incorporate, or file your DBA. LegalZoom.com received an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau, so you know they'll get the job done right. Over the past 14 years, they've helped over 1 million business owners successfully get started. And this month is special because with your purchase, LegalZoom will give you a 3-month trial to the all-new QuickBooks, a better way to run your whole business, a $119 value free. Be sure to enter more MOHR in the referral box at checkout, so make today your new business moment. And LegalZoom.com, they're ready to help make it happen. LegalZoom.com provides self-help services and connect you with the right attorney, but they're not a law firm. LegalZoom.com, turning business dreams to reality.
Put your name on it. Just put your name on it. That's all I say. Be a man or a woman. Put your name on it.
Well, I'd like to hear about it, potheads.
How the fuck you gonna know how to be great if you don't study greatness? Look at the game change.
Donuts.
If you want a battle, it's either that you will or you won't.
You know, you're not a bad-looking man, Mr. Gals.
But you are, Blanche. You are in that chair.
There's something wrong with us. Something very, very wrong with us.
Hey, man!
More Stories, episode 219, with the great Jim Jefferies, star of FXX, legit, Wednesday. Listen, you guys. Jim, say hi to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, darling. You have to watch Jim's show, Legit, on FXX, Wednesday, February 22nd, because A, Jim is a phenomenal comic. B, Legit is one of the few shows that are actually, like, great, with a great person in them. And C, because I told you so. That's fair. Those are good.
That's 3 good reasons.
Those
mate.
are 3 very good reasons, Jim Jefferies.
And Dr. Drew's on the first episode.
Really?
If you want to see if Dr. Drew can act.
I saw him in the highlights in like the coming attractions.
Yeah. He's all right.
Yeah.
He's all right. It comes from a real thing.
You're a sex addict.
Well, Dr. Drew, I did Loveline once, and I asked him a few questions, and he said, you might have problems, see a therapist. He said I might be a sex addict, so I thought I'll make an episode out of that.
Yeah, and is that so? The pilot episode is you dealing with your sex addiction?
Yeah.
Do you really think you're a sex addict?
I went to a couple of SAA meetings.
Really?
Yeah, I went to a couple just to check it out.
Or just for research?
I'll tell you, there's no single men there. There's no single guy. But yeah, I actually went because I thought I'll check it out, see if I fucking. I masturbate a bit too much, maybe. I don't know. But
when I co-hosted The View, Dr. Phil was on, and somebody asked him, Sherry Shepard asked him, because she sent her husband away to sex addiction camp or whatever, and she said, do you think there's such a thing as sex addiction? And he just flatly said, no, I don't. That was not a very good Dr. Phil impression.
Well, it is a thing. I think it is.
I think it is too.
People,
I was just surprised.
People can't control. But you also got to remember that Dr. Phil isn't an actual doctor. He's got an honorary doctorate. And I know this from talking to Dr. Drew that him and Dr. Oz, I think it riles them up a little bit.
I like the interspecies battles between doctors. What's Dr. J and Dr. Dre feel about all this?
Well, there's a line in Legit where and I thought when I wrote it, I thought, oh, maybe Dr. Drew won't say this, right? But he was happy to say it, and it was I ring him up going, I think I've got some problems. I don't know what's going on. And he goes, you need to find out more about yourself. You need to focus. You need to this. You need to that. You need to whatever, right? And I said, oh yeah, I think you're right. I said, I was watching Dr. Drew. He said something very similar. And he goes, I was watching Dr. Phil. He said something very similar. And he goes, Dr. Phil, really, Jim? Why don't you get your advice from Rachel Ray and be done with it?
That's what you wrote for him. I didn't know you wrote the episodes. That's impressive.
Yeah, man. I fucking write all of them.
How did you learn to write? Because that was like the big thing for me. Like Saturday Night Live, writing sketches, I was like, I don't know how to write sketches. You know how I learned to write sketches? John DiMaggio grabbed me and said, dude, I'm tired of you talking about that. And Johnny's a huge human.
Yeah.
Or as they say in Jersey, a huge human.
Yeah.
He goes, go home, smoke a joint, and make believe you know how to write fucking sketches. I'm done. And that's what I did. I just banged them out like 10. They all sucked.
Well, the first season, I most of the episodes were based on my stand-up, and we wrote them down. But I am, if you follow me on Twitter, I'm semi-literate. I can't fucking write a sentence with putting the right S's and apostrophes.
And there's an E in Jefferies.
Yeah.
Jim Jefferies. There's some other guy getting all your tweets.
Yeah, it's probably me spelling it wrong. But so I can't spell it. So what I do is I have a writer's assistant, and I lay on my sofa, and I just dictate the entire episodes. Every single word of it, I just dictate, and then at the end, I feel like I'm a big man.
Well, you are a big man.
I don't even have like the screenwriting fucking software on my computer.
I put it in, but I don't know how to use it. Yeah. Final Draft? I'm an idiot.
FX offered to give it to me, and I said, I won't be needing that.
My wife's got like 9 movie ideas and show ideas and stuff, and they're all like not good, brilliant. And like we have to like find a writing partner for her because I'm an absolute idiot. Like,
my girl's amazing, man. She just sits, and also it's good if you say a joke and you think it's funny. If you know that person has a sense of humor, and you look at their face as they're typing it, you're going, "Oh, I don't think they're enjoying that," you know.
But your jokes, I will say, that I have to give credit.
I'm good at telling stories, so that script writing wasn't that big a leap because I was a story-based stand-up anyway. So I never really wrote little bits as such.
I've said this on the podcast, but I'll say it now that you're here. I followed Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
I followed bands. I followed Brad Williams, the little person.
He's in Legit.
Gangnam Style. He's in Legit. So there's another reason to watch Legit. Wednesday, February 22nd on FXX at 10 p.m. I followed him dancing to Gangnam Style at the Gibson Amphitheater. Following you at the Melrose Improv was the hardest thing I've ever done.
Oh, that's sweet. I haven't seen you since this.
As a headlining comic, because your stories are so awesome. And the jokes you have are like wicked and like razor sharp. And you take the audience places that are like so taboo, but you do it with that smile on your face, and it's all acceptable and fine and fun. And like cheeky. Nothing's over the line. It's totally cheeky. And then I went up and I'm like, well, I'm a storyteller too, but compared to Jim, my stories suck.
You fucking crushed that night. What are you talking about?
It was hard. I had a lot of work to do, and I have a lot of work to do. Let me get this in.
That was a cool lineup.
It was Brad. Following Brad was easier than following you, and he's dancing, doing lap dances and shit.
There's a bit in Legit where just because I had to do it, we're doing cocaine at a party, and we ad-libbed. He goes, "Who wants to do it off my back?" And I picked him up and threw him in the scene.
And we know how much he likes to be picked
ad-libbed.
up.
It wasn't scripted. I literally picked up the dwarf and threw him on the bed, and we did cocaine off his back.
And he hates to be picked up. That's his number one fear. He's a funny bastard.
He seemed all right with it afterwards. He's like, yeah, it's okay. Just more episodes, please.
I think you were the first person to pick him up and actually give him a check. Most people are just drunk and they want to pick him up and take pictures for their frat house wall. You actually were like, thanks for coming.
Well, the way to do it is you got to get the belt. If he wasn't wearing a belt, I couldn't do it. It's just that you got to have a handle.
I think I learned this on the Learning Channel.
Yeah.
I had to properly pick up a dwarf.
And you have to sort of, I didn't pick him up and place him. I had to throw him onto the bed. You know, it wasn't like...
I can't wait for the show.
I could only do it in one motion. That's episode 10, I think.
You know, they've
11.
got those, you can hire them for parties where like 2 or 3 dwarves will come over to your party, to your house, to your event or whatever, and they'll set up a Velcro, this is real, a Velcro wall.
Yeah, but that means that it's too organized. I don't need organized dwarf throwing.
Hold on. But they have a specially made dwarf throwing...
Velcro outfit where they trampoline, they jump and they...
No, there's a handle on their back.
Like luggage.
Louis
Vuitton.
And you throw the person as hard as you can at the Velcro and make them stick.
How long were we carrying around dwarfs with handles before we realized we could just put a couple of wheels at the bottom?
Yeah.
Drag them around the airport properly.
I agree with you. Luggage dwarves. It's a very special kind of dwarf, a luggage dwarf.
Sit them on a trunkie. Every kid's got a trunkie.
Yeah, I like that, Jim Jefferies. I got to get these dates out. I have a huge East Coast swing, and I need your listeners right here, these fine listeners of the More Stories podcast, to help me fill these rooms because there's a lot of them on the East Coast. Huge East Coast swing, March 27th, South Orange Performing Arts Center. Please buy tickets there. And then March 28th, the next night, Borgata Casino. March 29th, Foxwoods Resort.
I love Foxwoods.
I love it too. And it's huge, and they always fill it.
It earns more money than any casino in Vegas.
Is that true?
It's the #1 casino in America.
Really?
For making money, yeah. Because all those people, man, fucking get the bus up there, and it's always packed, and it's massive.
March 30th, Jim. Yeah. Ridgefield Playhouse.
That doesn't earn as much as the casinos in
Ridgefield, Connecticut, March 30th. So this is all, anybody on the East Coast wants to come see me and go, when you coming to the East Coast? This is it. April 4th, Bananas at Hasbrook Heights. April 5th, The Space at Westbury. So please, everybody, come see me do some stand-up comedy. Now, Jim, your show legit, Wednesdays, 10 o'clock, February 22nd on FXX. Everybody, really, when you hit record on your TiVo or your DVR, you should just hit it twice. You get a season pass.
That's true. You get a season pass and try to watch it within a week. Otherwise, I don't get the ratings.
Yeah. Is that true?
Yeah, you got to watch it within the week.
Well, that's terrible then. Because I'll wait a month and I'll bang them all out.
I know. I've screwed over many of my favorite shows.
I don't think anybody really knew that until you said it. You bummed everybody out.
Yeah, I got told about it when we were going through the ratings. I was going, they tell you like a month later what you got on your DVRs. Like whether you did good or not, because that can save your ratings and you won't know for a month.
You employ on Legit more special people than any show in the history of television.
I do. And
I don't say that as a joke. There's a special aunt in the family, and I commend you for it. And it's got to be...
We have an episode, I think episode 2 this season, one of them dies. And we all go to a special needs funeral. And
then hilarity ensues.
Hilarity ensues, and I start hitting on the dead sister of the special needs kid. Yeah.
What was his special need?
He was muscular dystrophy. We had it so that the character of Billy. There's a weird thing. The guy that I actually know has muscular dystrophy. There was a weird thing that he hit 30, and then all of his friends were dead. Because when you're a little kid, they pair you up with other people with the same disease.
Yeah.
And like it's like at 30, he was like an old man who had lost all of his friends. He was in a nursing home, and everyone else is dead. Everyone I know is dead. You know what I mean? So we thought maybe if Billy's last friend died, that'd be a cool idea for a sitcom.
See, this is why I can't follow you at the improv, because how are you supposed to follow a muscular dystrophy funeral story?
Well, we had there's a great bit of dialogue where Steve starts going, disabled funerals are the best. The best. I go, why? And he goes, all the women are sad. They need a bit of comforting, but they knew it was coming. It hasn't been a sudden. If you're going to pick up disabled funerals, where it's at,
that's the spot.
Yeah, because everyone's sort of not. I won't say happy.
It's not like it blindsided them. It's not like it blindsided them, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's not like at 40 at a coronary.
Yeah, and also when you say you're friends with a disabled person, then people think you're super sweet, and everyone likes. I'll tell you a weird death story that happened just this weekend. I'm flying off to Atlanta, and me and my support act, we get to the airport, and it was like we were getting on a 6:30 flight, so we could get in there before 2 rather than go the day before type of thing, you know?
Yeah.
And so we're there, and I always thought you had to get to the gate, like we checked in our baggage and everything. I always thought you had to get to the gate 10 minutes before the flight, before they shut the doors.
Oh.
Turns out 15 15.
A 5-minute window.
Yeah, so we show up like 12 minutes before with our bag of McDonald's. It's not like we've been running. We're just fucking douchebags that were hungry.
You're the guy that brings McDonald's on the plane. The whole plane smells like farts.
It was breakfast time, and we had to eat. It's a long flight, and the food they give their shit. And so we go, and you can see the plane, you can see the walkway, and we're like, just open the fucking door. And they're like, no. And we're like, why not? It's that sort of that 9/11 look, like it's secure. Like, what are you gonna do? And you're like, what difference does it make if you just open us up and let us on? We have tickets, obviously. But the truth is they've already given you tickets away to 2 standby people, and the plane's already full. Anyway, they go, we'll put you on standby for the next flight. Now, we all know that in Atlanta recently, they had like an inch of snow and the whole city shut down for weeks, right? Yeah. So it turns out that every Atlanta flight from now until Easter is fucking chocked up with all the people who lost their flights there being moved forward, right? It's very hard to get to Atlanta at the moment, right? And so we go on standby, and they said, oh, your standby number, like you're 19 and 20. And we were like, fuck, we're not getting on this flight. If we didn't get on this flight, there was another flight that would get us there in time. I'm about to lose loads of cash. I'm doing 2 shows in Atlanta. Like, I'm doing early and late in this theater. I sold out both of them. And I was just like, I'm fucked. AEG, my touring people are going to fucking hate me. CAA are going to call me irresponsible.
You're leaving from here?
I'm leaving from LAX, right?
I'm like, say rent a car, but
no, I can't. We haven't thought of the car and the thing, and maybe if we got all these different ideas, right? That none of them were going to play out. We just weren't fucking getting to Atlanta. We're 19 and 20.
Have Brad Williams throw you into Atlanta.
And then we show our cards, and the lady goes, oh, you're both platinum, because we travel so much. We both have platinum things. They go, you're now number 1 and 2 on the standby list. And we're like, ka-ching, excellent. Fucking happy as anything. Now, there's these other 20 people standing around, and they've just seen this. And then the guy who was number 1 on the standby list, right? He's got a crew cut, tears in his eyes. Walks up to the counter and goes, but my grandma's in surgery now and I may never get to see her. She's not going to make it. And then he shows his military ID. He's obviously been pushed up the queue because he's got a grief thing like that. And he goes, but my grandmama, she's really like this, right? And then I'm standing next to him at the counter like, and he's looking at me like I'm going to give up my phone. I'm like, it's not your mother. You know, it was, and then he was like, I just got to get on this flight. And he's got tears and he's panicking, and I'm standing there going, look, I get it, right? You're really upset, but there's 2,000 people in Atlanta who, if I don't show up, are going to be a little bit upset. And if you add all of them together, that's probably the equal amount of upsetness that we're both dealing with here. So,
yeah. You're still not in Afghanistan.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
You're in L.A. You go to the beach.
And then there's a bit of my brain that doesn't, it's a surgery. She mightn't die. So what, am I going to give up my seat for this woman who's going to fucking live? So that,
full recovery.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, they wouldn't be taking her into surgery to kill her. Right? This isn't a death surgery where they're taking her in going, we don't like you. We're taking your heart out to show it to your grandson as he arrives. Right? And so to cut a long story, well, I've actually cut a long story long.
Who cares?
We get to the thing, and they make us stand. Oh, also, I got a marijuana card, and I thought I'd sleep better on the card. I'm not really into pot, but I ate half a hash chocolate bar before I got on because I thought it'd help me sleep through the middle of the day because marijuana always puts me to sleep. And so I'm standing there on the runway bit, and they go, stand here. We have to check if these people are on the flight. So there's 3 of us there, and they say there's 3 seats available. And I'm like on so much weed that the feeling was, it was the same feeling as I imagined they felt during Argo. You know, where the plane hasn't taken off, and I'm about to get into a lot of trouble. And in the end, all 3 of us got on, and the guy, as we were leaving the plane, I sort of patted him on the back and I said, I'm glad you got on as well, mate. You know, I'm glad you got on as well. He just looked at me like, fuck you, you cunt. What would you do in that situation?
I would have thrown the support act under the bus.
Well, that was my next step.
I would have said, I guess I have no opener and I'll just do an
Yeah, I would have gotten rid of the opener if there was 2, but what if there was just 1 ticket?
If it was a veteran going to see his grandmother, I would tell the opening act like, I guess I'm doing an hour and 40.
No. There's only one ticket. It's either between you or him.
Oh, I got to get to the gig.
Yeah, I got to get to the gig. I got to get there,
Thank
right?
you for your service.
Yeah.
I appreciate you defending my freedoms.
Yeah,
But like you said, it's not death surgery.
It's not death surgery, and it's not you. If it was your mother.
It also depends on how much you guys are going to cash in when you get there. It depends on how big the check
There
is.
was a
Jim
lot of money
Jefferies.
involved.
Jim Jefferies, sweetheart. He's not flying for one comma.
Like, if it came down to one,
I
I would have offered the guy.
You could like break them off with something.
Yeah, I might have gone, look, how much money would you like?
Right.
Yeah,
I've done that with seats when if I'm not, my wife and I are seated apart from one another. I'll offer somebody. I'll go like, look, I'll give you $100 just to let. And they always turn it down. And I always think to myself, I would never turn down somebody offering me $100 just to switch seats if I was just traveling alone.
My son's the fucking best, man. I was on a plane with my son, and we didn't. You have to have him on your lap for like 5 hours, right? And there were other seats on the plane. So I'm sitting here, my girlfriend's sitting in the middle. She's got my son on her lap, and there's a woman sitting next to us. And all throughout the plane, there was all these available middle seats. And I said to her, look. I said, I know you probably don't want to sit in the middle seat, but we're already sitting in a group of 3 anyway. If you take one of those 3 seats, you won't have to be next to a crying baby, and it'll probably be a lot easier for you, right? It'll be a lot easier for us. And that's reasonable, a reasonable argument, right? Helpful for her, helpful for us, helpful for everyone. And then she went, look, if you can convince someone to give me an aisle seat, I'll do it, make them sit in the middle, but why should I have to sit in the middle? And I went, well, fine, okay, you can sit next to the crying baby. I'm just trying to do it for you. She goes, I need to sit in the aisle. And then we took off, and my son projectile vomited all over this fucking woman. And I'd never been more proud. I was like, yeah, fucking enjoy your seat, you cunt.
I wish that lady had a military ID.
Yeah, but this is
and was flying to see her nephew's surgery.
I said, thank God you sit in the aisle. You can get to the bathroom to clean yourself off faster.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
How long was the flight?
We were going to. Where were we flying to? We were flying. No, we were Fort Lauderdale. We went on a cruise. So we were flying to Fort Lauderdale.
You went on a cruise?
Yeah, man.
Were you trying to kill your girlfriend? Because that's when I watched Dateline ID, that's the only reason they're there for is to throw your wife off the back. That's really the only reason to get on a floating murder parlor.
But, they're excellent things to do if you got a little tiny kid, because you put them.
Absolutely agree.
You put them up in daycare. You get wasted all around the boat. They're only anything goes wrong, they're just there. The daycare's beautiful. There's like fucking these nurses everywhere taking care of the kids, and then you have dinner with the kid, and then you go get fucked up. And
if you have kids, it's a great idea.
Do you have a nanny?
No, I don't do that. No.
Yeah, you gotta get a nanny and bring the nanny on the cruise. Nanny on vacation. They say you get what you pay for. Probably the single greatest investment any parent can make is a nanny that can go on vacation with you. I know it's expensive, but I mean, do you want to lay by the pool and drink lava flows and get hammered and make believe you're a dolphin for a little while in the pool and have sex on the balcony? Or do you want to just walk your kid through the pineapple garden again?
Well, we had a good time, and it worked out without a nanny, and I got drunk the whole time. I didn't get to go into the comedy club. I wanted to see what excellence was performing in there.
The boat act.
Oh man,
yeah.
I just got off a cruise, and the comics were not very funny.
Also, there's a lot of you have to be not clean, but relatively clean.
Well, I think they had like a 6 o'clock family friendly show.
Yeah, it gets dirtier as the night goes on.
9 o'clock, like 18 and up, and then like an 11 o'clock, fucking pull your dick out on stage.
Oh, really?
Not really.
That one is 9 o'clock dick out on stage shows.
Oh, that's it. No, it's actually...
Camera phones have ruined that.
No, it's actually a 9 o'clock...
stage all the time guy. I'm serious. Yeah, I was a fucking idiot. I would do stupid shit like that with my unimpressive penis.
The only cruise I ever went on was a 9 o'clock whip your dick out on stage cruise.
Yeah. That's why they sold it.
It was in the literature. So how do you... I've always wanted to ask you this, and for some reason the first 3 times you've been on the podcast, well, you didn't have a show the first 2 times, but FX, legit, Wednesday, February 22nd, season pass that shit, and watch the great Jim Jefferies. How do you cast... And I'm not making a joke, I'm dead serious. How do you cast special people? Because you have to get high-functioning...
There's a special people casting agency.
And they have to be high-functioning enough...
No, we have no.
No.
We have some Wranglers.
What?
No, we have the guys who are called their acting coaches. Very nice blokes. They come on and take care of them. It's just like a nice sort of like they have like a theatre that they all perform in, right? They do plays and stuff, which is a very sweet thing, and it gives.
Matty Boy and I have firsthand. Aunt Christy in our family. She first of all Special Olympic swimmer. Like nobody could ever beat her. And then she was
born with a propeller.
She was. Yeah, that was actually
that's her disability.
That's her disability. Perfectly normal. 140
You
IQ.
had a rubber band, and all of a sudden off she goes.
140 IQ, just has a propeller sticking out of her rear end. She was in a singing group called. If you're going to name a singing group filled with only people with Down syndrome and special people,
I'd call it Multiple Directions.
Multiple Directions. I like that.
Wow,
that's a good one.
7 Directions. Wow. You all get them on stage, they'll all wander off in different...
Wow. And they all have the One Direction haircuts?
But on their chest.
They all have that.
That's stupid fucking
They call
English.
that haircut in Australia the frollet, the front mullet.
It's fucking...
The special person cut?
No, the One Direction cut.
The frollet.
The frollet, yeah.
Guess what Aunt Christie's musical group was called? 7 Direction is good.
Was her erotic movie called Eyes Wide Apart?
No, she was never in any erotic movies. She passed. She's got standards.
Was it? Okay, I'm going to... in excess chromosomes.
Jesus. Your writing assistant just shook her head no. They were called the Bright Lights.
Ah, yes.
The irony.
Yes.
The Bright Lights. And they would tour.
Yeah.
And go like who? It's like, who should we get? Should we get the old guy with the accordion to play the old folks home?
What songs did they sing? Was it original?
Matty Boy?
I have no idea.
There was special person karaoke in the Valley for a long time. What was the name of that bowling alley? Canoga Park?
Yeah, Canoga Lanes, yeah.
It was like this biker bowling alley where like these meth, like Sons of Anarchy looking guys. And somehow like on Saturday nights, special people would take it over. And
there's porn star karaoke in the Valley.
Which one do you think? I bet special karaoke is a little more interesting and less sad.
I think it might be very similar.
Mix them up, Matty said. Matty Boy said have a mixer. The porn people maybe not too particular.
There's an agency, and I enjoy it, actually.
I think in that case, hold on, if you mix it up, I think the special people would be the ones making concessions.
Yeah.
If they actually did mix.
They wouldn't be the ones crying in the toilet.
No. It'd be the porn people.
We had there was an episode in season 1. We had like a sports day for disabled people in the episode, right, where I went and helped out at the home, and there was a girl that I liked, and hilarity ensued, right? But so the storyline was there was a girl that I liked, and then there was. I hope I don't sound mean-spirited saying this story, but anyway, there was a girl that I liked, and then there was. She took care of the disabled people, and the disabled people were all in love with her. Now, this story comes from my friend who has the brother with muscular dystrophy. He married...
5 Floors of Horrors you brought him to.
He married...
Is this the same guy?
Same guy.
Okay.
He married his brother's carer. And a few of the disabled guys at the wedding were a little bit shitty because that was the girl they always had contact with, who they all had a crush on.
Yeah.
And now she's off the market, and now she's probably going to get knocked up and not take care of him anymore, blah, 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 right?
Plus, they were next in line. That's obviously she likes me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the Paul Bernard, who you know, as assistant director, he's on set and he says to all the special and we had a whole, I don't know if you call her a murder of disabled people. We had a whole
Congress.
Yeah, we had a whole lot of them.
A Congress of special people.
A special of. Anyway, so we had a lot of them, and some of them are mentally fine, and some of them aren't, and, there's a mixed bag. And he comes up to me and said, okay, now you're all in love with this girl over here, all right? But Jim's trying to get her off you, okay? So in this scene, you love her, and you hate Jim. So Jim, her, love, right? And they're like, yeah, we got it, right? Simple language, they were in. Some of this carried over to after they yelled cut. Some of this carried over into lunchtime, where I'm trying to get my food and they're all just staring at me and I'm just putting my food on like along that line. Anyway, so I go into the bathroom and I'm having a piss, and we're in this sort of like this hospital where we're filming it, and we have this and all I hear on the side of the bathroom cubicle is, and he's put the Down syndrome guy with his hands up against the wall, just staring at me, and I went, I won't say his name, I know his name, but let's call him Eric. I went, "G'day, Eric," like that, right? And he went, "You stay away from her."
Oh.
And I went, "All right then, yeah, okay, yeah, I will." And then he sort of gave me one of these ones. Try to explain it on radio. One of these flinches.
Yeah, like,
You know,
like I might hit you.
I might hit you. He gave me one of those flinches. I screamed like a girl, right? I went, oh. Because what happens if he does hit me? Do I hit him back? Is there going to be a fight where people are obviously going to blame me, right? We're in a horrible situation now. I started screaming out for the assistant director, like, Paul!
Poor Paul. Fucking Paul Bernard. Just the guy you want to hop in over the top.
Yeah, so, but apart from that, it's a delight, man.
I'm surprised you haven't won awards because...
Well, you know what? It's nice to have a group of extras or a group of actors who are fucking over the moon to be there. Like, you've been on enough sets where there's extras and they all just sort of sit there and they have this little look on their face of, fuck, I've studied acting for 4 years and this cunt has a TV show.
Yeah.
You know, where they give you that sort of look.
There's only one thing worse than that look, and that's the look of, hey, we're all acting.
Yeah.
Like, I'm on the show.
Yeah, and I'm going to chat to you like I'm part of the... Yeah.
I'm on Las Vegas.
Yeah.
No, you're not. You're not. You're behind a rope. When they say cut, they put you behind a rope like cattle.
Yeah.
Law and Order jury, best example of that. Next time you see Law and Order, just look at the jury, and every single statement is just like a big...
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a jury. We had one girl who was just so disinterested. She was doing a crossword, but the rest of them were super like... Yeah. Oh, and then you'd like say something on the stand and they go...
Yeah, those people love
Yeah.
We call that in this house, you'll like this, background. They don't like to be called extras. They like to be called either atmosphere or background. So in this house, we watch Law and Order just to take inventory. We figure out the Bacademy Awards. Just the person like filing that looks up like, where the hell did I put my pen face?
I decided, as you said, that it legit deserves an award for disabled acting, and I've decided to call them MDs.
MDs instead of the Emmys.
Yeah, the MDs.
I like that.
Yeah, they're nice for people with muscular dystrophy. Get Jerry Lewis in there to host it. Is he alive? I don't even know.
Yeah, no, he's alive.
I did that weird thing when Shirley Temple died, where I went, she's dead? Oh, I thought she was already dead.
I thought she was too, but she was like ambassador to every country on the globe.
What do you reckon? I reckon there's that guy who has that job that he has to make the In Memoriam for the Oscars.
Oh.
And he just put Philip Seymour Hoffman in, like, yeah, fucking the music ends. It's perfect. Picture of Philip Seymour Hoffman. And then he's go to bed and he wakes up. Fucking Shirley Temple, that fucking...
Back to work.
Fucking cunt. I got to start this all over again. I wedged in Paul Walker for 2 seconds. I didn't want to do that.
The In Memoriam at the Oscars is one of the most disgusting things in the world because some people get way more applause than others. And it's like...
Some people...
You're applauding like, oh, he died the most.
And it's those,
that was the best death all year.
It's those ones where they just pick and choose. There's some cunt who chooses it and just decides that certain people aren't worthy.
I don't think Buddy Hackett made it when they did it.
Farrah Fawcett didn't make it.
Yeah, she was in The Burning Bed for crying out loud.
She was in fucking movies, man. I'll tell you who else. And I know because he was a little fucking weird cunt at the end and a little drughead. Corey Haim.
Didn't make it.
Corey Haim was a movie star, man. He wasn't at the end, but at the time, he was a box office draw.
Absolutely.
And didn't make it.
And then they got to mix in like a sound assistant.
Oh yeah, sound assistant, a director, or the old woman from the Titanic. I tell you what, Corey Haim had more to do with the movie landscape of this country than fucking the old bitch from Titanic.
License to Drive.
Yeah, exactly, man. Heather Graham was in that film.
I think you're going to tell me Heather Graham died, and I got freaked out. Like, what?
I tried to get Heather Graham to play my love interest this season on Legit, and she almost said yes, but for some reason she said no at the end.
Maybe Peter O'Fallon, your director, said something to her that freaked her out, like how you guys freaked me out at the Universal Amphitheater. You play a rapist, but you're you. Great pitch. Well, how about you just change the name?
In the end, we used a girl called Jill Ariano, who's a super pretty girl, really good actress, all that type of stuff. But the good thing about it was I had a couple of kissing scenes with her, which was nice and all that type of stuff. But I was super nervous about it. But I knew my girlfriend wouldn't get angry, right? Because Jill's married to Glenn Howerton, who's off Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So
she's taken. She's off the market.
She's off the market. Not only off the market, but by a TV show that could kill my TV show in a phone call.
Not for long.
So that
I want to ask you about kissing on camera. First, listen to these commercials.
When shopping for car insurance, consider this. Geico has been saving people money on car insurance for over 75 years. So if you're serious about savings, it's simple. Go to geico.com. After 75 years, they know how to save you money.
I'm not sure if you heard, but the IRS is under a strict mandate this year to collect. If you owe back taxes, listen carefully, because their army of agents is ruthless. They can levy your bank accounts, garnish your wages, even take your home or business. This is serious, but I have a good solution called the only people I trust to help you. Optima Tax Relief. I've met with these people, and trust me, they'll get to work immediately to protect you from aggressive IRS collection actions. Be sure to ask about their Fresh Start initiative when you call. It's a limited time program and one of the biggest breaks the IRS has offered in ages. You could qualify for a settlement that is much less than before these changes. Nobody knows these tax relief programs like the experts at Optima Tax Relief. One quick call is all it takes to get started on resolving your tax debt. Optima Tax Relief is fully accredited by the BBB and offers a one-of-a-kind money-back guarantee. Don't wait until it's too late. Call Optima now for your free consultation. 800-405-8313. 800-405-8313. 800-405-8313. Optima Tax Relief. It's here.
Geico presents Fan Mail to a Pig.
Dear Maxwell, I just want to say thank you for making my Geico Insurance ID card digital. It's easy to find on the app. It doesn't give me paper cuts, and I always have it on hand because it's on my phone. Because of this, I finally cleaned out my glove box, which was filled with years of paper ID cards. Any thought on what I should put in my glove box now? Sincerely, Trent Patterson. Trent, what can you put in the glove box? Here's a crazy thought. How about gloves?
Digital insurance ID cards, just a tap away on the Geico app.
People don't, Jim Jefferies, star of Legit. It's February 22nd. It's 10 o'clock on Wednesday, and make sure you record it, watch it, tweet about it, and let FXX know how much you love Legit. You can't live without Legit, for crying out loud. Also, go to jmohr.com, click my Amazon banner, and buy stuff, and I'll read your thing. John McDougal, Jim Jefferies, said, hey, JJ, thanks for the great weekly distraction. I'm a loyal listener, love the podcast. My kids have to eat special food due to disease. Jesus. Due to diseases they have.
I might get a roll on Legit, these kids.
And these foods are quite pricey. When I realized I could get the food through Amazon via the jmohr.com banner and help put the Mohr boys through school, it was a no-brainer. I just put $400 worth of eats for the kids. Not Sarah Brady Big, but who really
very
is.
Expensive. It's just 2 carrots.
2 carrots.
But they're grown up in the Alps.
I will be at the Ridgefield. Oh, good. I will be at the Ridgefield Playhouse on March 30th. And to quote Bart Scott, can't wait. Can't wait. That's John McDougal in Mahopac, New York. John, thank you very much. And take care of those beautiful children of yours. Kissing on camera.
Yeah.
I think I've done more than you.
Obviously, I've kissed 2 girls on camera.
Yeah?
Yeah, I kissed 2 girls this season. But proper making out kisses, yeah. I was super nervous.
No tongue.
And I had the tiniest bit because you want it to look real, but it wasn't like, it's pretty mechanical.
It is. And people don't believe you when it's like, what's it like to kiss Jennifer Aniston, or what's it like to kiss whoever? Yeah. And you go, there's lights. It's like porn people explaining sex.
I got a lot better of it. When we were in like take 5, I was getting a lot better. But take 1 was not super good. And also, like, in many cases, you've just met the person.
Yeah, most cases.
Yeah, and hopefully...
Especially on TV.
I'd like to say, the 2 girls I kissed are in a few episodes, and we sort of became friends. So when we had to do it again, it wasn't so hard.
Right.
When it's friends, it's like the 2 of you look at each other and go, all right, let's do this. But when you're strangers, it's like...
Do you kiss during rehearsal?
No.
No, you don't.
No.
That's a rule. Never. If you have rehearsal and it's time to kiss.
You sort of do this whole, you rehearse the thing and then you go, hey, look, where are you going? Or whatever the line is before. And then, like, you sort of look at each other and go, and then you read the next line. Right?
I always went like this. I'd go, hey, where are you going? And then I would turn out towards, like, where the director sits. I go, then we kiss. Just take it out. Just immediately just get it out of everyone's. And then we kiss. And then you
know what was
up.
more awkward than the kissing? Was
the fingering is very awkward.
We filmed a scene.
Nothing.
We filmed a scene where we weren't kissing, but we were being filmed from our shoulders down as Billy came up in his wheelchair. So we had to physically look like we were kissing, but we weren't. So it was just sort of like, like, what does your hands do while you're kissing? You're not thinking about it. That felt more awkward.
To the butt. I mean, one to the lower back, one to the butt. Kind of
just gonna make like.
No, I was a lot more respectful than you, and it was a first kiss with this girl. You don't go straight for the ass.
Oh no, I
Matty
didn't know
Boy would.
I didn't know it was a first kiss.
No, it was the first time the two characters had kissed.
Okay,
so,
Matty
what do
Boy
you think?
he thinks that's what kissing is. He's from the Ozarks.
I tell you, we got some cool guest stars this year.
Tell Dr. Drew.
We got Dr. Drew, Carrie Fisher.
Wow,
Carrie Fisher.
She is fascinating.
She is. I tell you who else we got cool. George Lazenby plays my dad.
I don't know who that is.
Exactly. Right.
All right.
But I'm about to tell you who it is, and it makes it all that more exciting. George Lazenby was James Bond.
When?
He's the forgotten Bond, but he was James Bond.
Pre-Roger Moore, Sean...
pre-Roger Moore, after Sean Connery. Between Sean Connery and Roger Moore...
Didn't work out?
There was George Lazenby, an Australian guy, did one Bond film, right, called On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
All right. I know the title very well.
Yeah. And it is rated one of the best Bond movies ever.
Why did they cut him loose as being Bond?
He was signed on to do 7 of them, and he decided that it was going into the 70s. It was 1969, and the Bond was all stuffy and wearing a suit, and he'd be a movie star... another way. And he didn't even turn up to the premiere. But he was best looking man in the world.
He never would have had to have worked again, ever.
Well, now he does he married Pam Schreier, I think, and he did quite well out of that. But we have Magnus Sabansky plays my mother, who you'll know of. Who was a big star in Australia, but she was in Babe. She played the farmer's wife.
That's what I wanted to know, if you're going to get the Dancing Hippo from Fantasia. But
it's a big woman, Magnus Sabansky. She's like a huge star in Australia. So my mother...
How big a gal is she?
She's a big girl. She's a large girl.
Not as big as Gunther.
Not as big as Gunther, but she's a big girl. She's the biggest girl.
Gunther.
She's the biggest girl I could find with an Australian accent who was willing to, who's super funny.
Now, is she happy about the hiring of this lady? Is she flattered?
No, because she rang me up and she went, so let me get this straight.
He's out of breath.
I'm going.
Hold on. I love that your mom's out of breath just at the beginning of the conversation because of dialing.
Yeah.
Go on, sorry.
I'm going to be portrayed by a big fat woman, and your father will be portrayed by James Bond. Are we on the right page here?
Yes, Mom.
I said, yes, Mum. I said, Mum, if you kept your figure, Ursula Andrews could have played you. But, what the fuck are we going to do about this?
Nothing you can do about it, Mom.
I'll tell you, I told this on Corolla's show, but I'll tell it very quickly now. I sat down with George Lazenby. I'm sitting next to him. I said, I got to ask you. I said, you ever fuck a Bond chick? And he went, in some Australian accent ever, he said, it'd be easier to tell you which ones I haven't fucked. And then he said, they all come to the conventions. So he hasn't fucked them in their prime. He's fucked them in a Motel 6.
Oh,
with
sad.
headshots all around them. They're both 70.
Yeah, that's sad. Sad, weepy, old man sex. He's got gynomastia.
I know my other favorite.
That's no joke, dude.
What's that?
Don't fuck with that stuff.
Gynomastia?
I know a lot of people that have been seriously affected by it.
You're a dick.
So John Ratzenberg, who played Cliff from Cheers.
Yeah.
He's
one of your best impressions, by
He's
the way.
very, very well-traveled man, John. And
he fucked a lot of Bond chicks, oddly.
Well, I'm sitting in a makeup chair, and Ratzenberg's on one side of me, and fucking George Lazenby's on the other side. So I'm sitting in between Cliff Clavin and James Bond. And they're trying to chat to each other, and they don't really. It's not like they don't get along, but the conversation's not going smoothly. There was 2 girls in there doing hair and makeup, and John goes, "Yeah, where did you film the Bond movie? Where was that?" "Oh, most of it was in fucking France, in the French Alps, and Oh yeah. I love France." what's your favourite bit of France? And he goes, well, there's a place in Italy where you can fuck the prostitutes by the side of the road.
That's the favorite part of France.
That's his favourite part of France.
That part of Italy.
Right? And I sat there in the middle going, and the two makeup girls are like sort of, Then
human resources comes down and they try to talk. That's the thing human resources never factored in is old guys that don't give a shit.
Well, we're doing a fucking the scene that we have with my dad is my mum goes straight to hospital with deep vein thrombosis, which is every holiday she has. She goes to hospital with deep vein thrombosis, and so my dad decides he can break loose for a while. So me, the character of Billy, Steve, John Ratzenberg, and my dad all decide to go to a fucking rub and tug parlour and get wanked off by 5 hookers.
Per or one each?
One each.
Right.
But we do it. The whole joke is that we can hear each other. The walls are very thin. And so I'm hearing my dad being wanked off, and there's that level of uncomfort, you know.
Yeah, naturally.
But we had these fucking, so they're all Asian birds we got, because it's an LA rub and tug parlour, right? And they're all like American girls who are Asian descent, and they're all putting on the...
Shut up! Enough!
They're all putting on the super Asian accent. They're like, all right, Jackie boy, I love you long time. That type of one, right?
And meanwhile, they're like chemistry majors at UCLA.
Yeah, because there's only 2 things that Asians can be cast in television. They can either be super successful or super unsuccessful. They can be hookers or doctors. You've never seen one that's just like the guy that fucking does your accounts.
Yeah.
You never say, you know what I mean?
Like this is my girlfriend, Lucy.
Yeah, she works at H&M and she's studying fucking art.
Yeah.
No, she's a rocket scientist.
You want me to iron all these shirts and saying that you want more stock?
Yeah. They're either super Asian or super smart.
That's
right?
a very good point. We've come a long way with blacks in television.
Oh, yeah.
You said they're either super Asian or super smart. I just wanted to point that out.
I knew what I said, and I stand by it. Anyway, so we had all these birds, these Asian birds coming in. We auditioned most of them. And
How do you audition to jerk a guy off? Like, when your agent calls, it says, you're going to be a masseuse that jerks off Jim Jefferies.
The idea was that I got one that wasn't slightly as attractive as the other ones because I came in last, right? And so we had a girl, and she came in and did the audition with me, and she was quite a big lass. And it was funny because when she wanked off, she got the role because her tits jiggled up and down when she did the wanking motion. I thought that was humorous.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But your agent calls you and goes, all right, you sitting down? I got a nice little role for you.
Yeah.
You're going to jerk off 5 guys.
Exactly.
On FXX.
Yeah. And so
I'll take it. But first, I better call my professor at Cal Poly. Let him know my paper will be late.
One of them was an ex-lawyer who decided she wants to be an actress now, so she gave up law.
Well, honey, you've made it.
Yeah, so
you've made it, sweetheart. Well done in show business.
I forgot what bit I was going to talk about. I got it. So they all came in for fittings like a few days earlier, and I'm just sitting around set. They've all come in for fittings, and I've said hello to them all. And, you know, they're not naked in the scene. They're all like negligees or whatever. They've all come in for fittings.
They wear negligees at rub and tug places?
No, but on TV they have to. Because
I always pictured it being like clinical, like white doctor's coats.
It's just like sweatpants and a fucking old T-shirt.
So
this is what you've read in
magazines.
Ask Jeeves.
Well, not in Australia. In Australia, it's a lot better. My ad. It's all nude.
Really?
All nude rub and tug?
Yeah, all nude rub and tug. It's legal. So anyway, we've gotten off point a little bit.
Matty Boy's booking his flight.
So
all
these people come in and they're all getting fitted, and then there's this Asian girl who, this might sound racist, looks like Yoko Ono, not like in the face, but like she's wearing big sunglasses and like a big sun hat that's out to the side. And
what a jerk!
She's dressed very artistically,
and she's inside.
And she's walking around
inside
the place. She's walking around.
Right, but
I've met most of them. They've all been fitted.
You're going to bump into things if you wear sunglasses inside.
And she walks past me, and I said, "Oh, hello. You must be one of our prostitutes." Now, it turns out she was a film student who came down for a day to learn how it all works.
well, that's...
And so I'm going, "Oh, you must be one of our prostitutes." And she went, "What?" And I went, What? Because I just assumed because she was Asian on set that she must be a prostitute. And and so she walks away, and I'm sitting next to one of the girls who does my hair, and me and her are laughing about it. And then I think to myself, I'm sitting there, and I go, oh, fuck, no one's told George. And I run across the set only to hear him go, are you my prostitute? Like I got there too late.
But what's more symbolic and what's more, goes hand in hand? Actual prostitution and acting.
Show business, yeah.
Well, man, I met my girlfriend playing a prostitute on TV. That's how we met.
And everything worked out?
Everything worked out, man.
Which episode was she in?
She was in the pilot.
She was in the pilot.
Yeah.
And that was a good pilot.
It was good, yeah. She played the hooker who sucked off the disabled guy, yeah.
From the story, 5 Floors of Horrors.
From the real story.
Unleash that premium package on that More Stories app. You can get all the Jim Jefferies episodes.
It's
you like acting? Does it come natural to you?
I do like it. I don't enjoy it as much as stand-up in the sense that I don't feel as comfortable doing it as acting. But I do, probably because I've been doing stand-up for so long, I do feel a very big sense of achievement when I've done it reasonably well. I find writing the scripts...
When you've done acting reasonably well.
When I write the scripts, I feel really good because I never even handed in projects at school. When I have the paper in my hand, I go, I've written this. That feels really good. But also the acting, because it's out of my element, I do enjoy it, yeah.
And with stand-up, there's no waiting around.
There's no waiting around.
When do you get to the show? Because they always ask you, what time do you want to be here? And I always say, what time's the show? And they go, 8. I go, I'll be here at 7:55.
I try to arrive before the audience start queuing because I don't want to bump into people out the front.
Well, don't you come in a different entrance?
I do, but...
Theater artists entrance.
Yeah, I do, but...
Well, people have weird pictures of you.
I like to be there for an hour before and maybe order some food for the dressing room.
An hour?
Yeah, get some food.
That's when I'm waking up, Jim.
Yeah, no, I enjoy it. And then you get a beer into you. Lovely.
A beer, sure.
One beer and...
Sure.
Yeah.
One beer.
Yeah, before you go and get one beer into you.
One.
It depends on how. It was my birthday last week, and I got hammered before I went out there in Atlanta. Plus, I had that brownie, that chocolate thing on the flight.
How did that affect the flight? Do you see? If I ate a hash brownie about 20 seconds into the flight, I'd say, I'm in a fucking metal tube in the sky. This is not normal. I got to get out.
No. I enjoyed it. I watched the movie before I fell asleep. I must have been stoned. I didn't think I was that stoned, but I watched Prison Escape, whatever it is, the Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone movie, and I found that movie hard to follow. So I must have been pretty stoned. And then I thought it was an excellent movie, and I kept on rambling on to the guy next to me because I didn't get to sit next to my friend because we got put in separate seats because of these spare things. Okay, isn't it nice that Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger get along now? Because they didn't get along for the longest time.
Wait, I didn't know that.
Back in the 80s, when they were first starting out, they were pipped against each other as action stars. And Sylvester Stallone, like in an interview, went, hey, you know that his father's a Nazi, right?
Yeah.
You know, he's saying he's a Nazi and all that type of stuff. And Arnold Schwarzenegger used to say things like, well, you know, his body isn't very good. If he went in the Mr. Universe competitions, he wouldn't get very far. He hasn't got good definition and all that type of stuff. So they sort of went against each other, like who is the biggest, best muscle meathead, you know? And now, like, calling someone a Nazi is no small thing, you know?
Right.
And
I'd rather be called I wouldn't finish well in Mr. Olympia than say, do you know his dad was a Nazi?
Yeah, exactly. And
was his dad a Nazi?
They all were.
Austrians?
Most of them.
Really? No, I don't know.
No, there were some ties.
Well, they didn't really with Arnold, and he was governor of California.
It's hard. It was hard in that area. See, the last pope before this one was a Nazi. He was in the Hitler Youth.
Yeah.
There was no escaping it. That was.
Well, he didn't last long. They kind of they Jay Leno'd him.
You reckon he might be back again?
No, he won't be back.
You reckon the new one's Conan? He's going to get his own religion off to the side.
Yeah. On TBS, team. I forgot his name. I suck.
He was
Pope.
Benedict.
Pope Benedict. Yeah.
Pope Benedict, and then the new one.
He's cool. The Argentinian guy. Bringing the heat.
It's all religion. I don't follow it.
Well, why? You don't have to.
Same as people who aren't into sports.
Well, you don't have to.
Yeah, I don't follow it.
No one's selling it here. Don't worry.
I follow the sports, though. Yeah, I do. Right.
You listen to my show.
I listen to your show. I don't now.
Thanks.
Because I'm not making the show. But when I made the TV show, every morning, I'd listen to you on the way to work if I had.
And you would text me mid-show to we were talking about gay athletes, and you're like, "What about the rugby player that came out?" I would read your texts.
You never text me back, but I still.
Well, because I'm doing a live radio show.
I thought in an ad break you'd send me something, but I still.
In his defense, he usually does actually just say, "Jim Jefferies just texted me."
Oh no, I got that as well, but I like the personal touch.
You don't like 4 million people knowing.
Yeah, no, I did hear you, say that occasionally. Do you ever get like that thing with like radio where, okay, I do Opie and Anthony as much as physically possible. If I am in town on a weekday, no matter how tired I am, I will go into that show because those guys have been so good to me.
Me too.
Plus, I really enjoy doing it. But now, every time I go to New York, my gig's on a Saturday, I fly in day of, or I fly in Friday afternoon when they're not, Yeah. And so I just don't get to do it. But I get abuse from people now going, oh, you're too famous to do Opie and Anthony. I am in no way too famous to do Opie and Anthony. I would love to do it. I will do it and whenever I get the chance, but I just haven't had the chance.
That just happened to me when I was in New York last month, and I was co-hosting The View, like I said, and then I would have to do The View ends at noon, and my radio show starts at noon, and I would have to take an elevator up. Maddie and Dan Byer, my update anchor, would do the first 10 minutes to cover my elevator
I sent you a
ride.
text while you're on The View. What was my text I sent you there?
I don't recall. My phone's in the other room, too. Otherwise,
it was something mean-spirited.
But I'm getting
I have to look it up now.
I'm getting tons of tweets like, why didn't you do Opie and Anthony? I'm like, bro, I'm fucking at a job. I can't physically be in their studio while I'm doing The View, and that's the only reason I went to New York for that week. But when I go in March, I would love to go back on Opie and Anthony. And I stand with you, Jim Jefferies. Like, those guys, that is the most fun.
Most fun you can have
in the world. And it's like they get it, you get it. And it's one of the few places where it's just a complete hang.
Oh, it wasn't mean. I wrote, watching you on The View, you go, girl.
Why were you watching The View?
I was channel flicking, and then I saw you, and they won a viewer.
There you go.
There you go. That's how the ratings go up.
Hear that, ABC? It's on ABC, right?
Dr.
Phil was on. Speaking of honorary doctors,
watch all of it.
Dr. Phil comes up to me and goes, "My man, I've been watching you all week. You look like you're going through a car wash with your windows open, man." It was the best. Like, he came into my dressing room.
What I don't like about him is he's the common sense doctor, and it's like people listen to him, and it's like, well, at least like, so Dr. Oz and Dr. Drew and all that, at least they're saying medical things and they're saying blah, blah, blah. Dr. Drew does that, well, yeah, of course. So he does that. So my husband beats me and he gets drunk and he rapes me and then he goes, if he beats you, he doesn't love you. Dr. Phil goes, yeah. You need a man who's not going to beat you. And you're like, well, yeah, of course. That's what she needs. That's what. Do people pay for this fucking advice? You can't.
They always write Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
It's like, well, when you wrote me, we agreed to get you the help you need. I like Dr. Phil. I like the show a lot.
I hate when he walks off with his wife. Like,
why?
Look, I'm happy.
Yeah,
you could be happy too.
I hate that part as well.
Yeah, it's patronizing because people have hard relationships. And it's not always one person's fault. It's sometimes both people's fault, or is it one person's fault? People want to feel shit about themselves. Like, I haven't got it together because he's fucking... I just want him to have an affair so fucking bad.
I hate that walk-off, too.
Yeah.
It fucking gets me.
Like, you're telling me...
You know, you both
in every healthy relationship, you have a day where you don't like each other, or where you're fighting, or where something's gone on.
Right.
Everyone has a day here and there.
Yeah.
What, there's never a day where she's like, fuck you, I'm not walking off with you. And they always hold hands.
Yeah, fuck that.
Fuck that, man.
Let me tell you something. Dr. Phil's going to be on this podcast, so the two of you can fucking suck my dick. That man's a genius.
If you make a man suck your dick, then that's not a real friend.
That's not a real friend.
That's more an employee that you're abusing.
My Dr. Phil just keeps coming out as Bill Clinton.
It's the same.
That is not a real friend. I did not walk off the stage with that woman, my wife.
And it's always...
What's your competition?
We have Dr. Drew's wife in Legit as well. She
Does that walk off bother you?
she does a cameo. She sits next to him in a movie cinema when I call him. Like he's gone to a movie with his wife. She's a nice lady.
Yeah,
she
very nice, and he's super nice. Talk about a guy that has the world by the balls. He's a doctor.
Yeah.
He's like he's
handsome.
gorgeous. Yeah. And he's like just has his shit together. He's got 3 kids, and the most accessible guy. Like if you go up to him at a party or if you see him at like some event, you just go up and talk to him. Boom, you're up and running for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, and I tell you what, more women in my life get excited that I've met Dr. Drew than any celebrity I've ever met. Women fucking love him, like think he's sexy or something.
No, he is sexy.
Yeah. They're like fucking all over it.
I was at a hotel.
His wife came and saw me at Carnegie Hall, came along. Brought her friends.
You guys, you and fucking Bill Burr with your Carnegie Halls, and I'm sweating out these goddamn sweatshots.
I've only done it once, and I'll tell you something.
Really?
I'll tell you something about
You're
it.
100% more times than me.
Yeah, well, I only sold it out on the day, mind you. I was close all week.
You know what? I'll do Carnegie Hall. You can leave the upper deck open.
The thing is about it.
In case people want to throw Brad Williams around.
It's very clinical. It's not conducive. People can't drink in the audience, man. You can't have water in the fucking room. It's hard. I came out to like a standing ovation, and then people were so excited because I'd been plugging it the whole time, and people were like, this is going to be the most amazing show. And then it was the same as all my other shows, and people were like, we thought something, because you see that, like, I don't know what the union rules were fucking back then, but when Andy Kaufman had Santa Claus at Carnegie Hall come down through the fucking room,
and they took the audience out for milk and cookies.
Yeah. You can't fucking do that these days. That picture of Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., where they're all smoking, they're laughing, they're like kicking back laughing, and it says Carnegie Hall. You can't even, I doubt you can have cigarettes in your pocket in that fucking building.
It's amazing when you do the theaters how much less money. Like if you do a club, you can make a really good amount of money, but you have to do 5 shows.
Yes.
And I know you know this is for the listener, but you do a theater, the allure and the attraction is, let me get this straight. I fly to San Antonio, I do 1 show, I fly home, boom. But you make a third
half.
or half because there are so many, no one has any idea the amount of things that you have to pay out of your end, like stagehands. And union, and it's like I'm just gonna walk on stage.
For the first theater tour I ever did, I had a fucking meat platter at every fucking gig, and it turns out my agents thought that I'd enjoy this in some way. And I used to show up and look at this meat. Used to look at this meat platter and have like a slice of ham before I went on. I was paying like $150 a fucking meat platter.
Yeah, everything in a theater comes out your end. Yeah. If you play the Improv in Ontario, California, and you go, hey, can we get some sushi? They're like, yeah, I'll get, and they just come, and it's like more sushi than you and the entire staff could eat, and they never go into your pockets. No. They write you a check. Everybody's happy. The waitresses get tipped well. Everyone drinks. They eat. They have a good time. At a theater, you're like, hey, can I get a Diet Coke? Boom, $15 Diet Coke out of your end.
Yeah, and it's
I guess
it's also when you hear things like Elton John or Axl Rose or whatever, you used to have these big parties backstage where there would be like an ice sculpture and a this and a that and a this, and you're like, there's no room for these big parties.
No, they're
all these little tiny rooms, like
bowels.
The image that I used to have of these things, I'm sure at open air concerts and stadiums and stuff, it's different, right? But like, I performed at the Beacon. I've been to the Beacon Theatre. That's where they filmed the Rolling Stones fucking Shine a Light thing. There's no party back there afterwards.
None.
There's nothing to be done.
And you think it's so small, and what there is in a theater, there's 11 rooms the size of a big bathroom.
That all have a chair.
And it's cement, and it's cold, and it's dingy. And a chair, a mirror.
And maybe a mini fridge.
I've never seen the mini fridge.
Yeah, well, I said maybe.
Maybe. And you do wonder, like, where, like, forget, like, the party. Like, where did Keith and Ron Wood warm up? Like, where did they sit where their guitars were clanking into each other at the Beacon Theater? And same thing with, like, Hammerstein Ballroom in New York. And, like, but I've never been to Carnegie Hall. But, like, all the theaters that you do.
Can I ever tell you the story? This is a friend's story, and he never tells it. I'm going to tell it as him. He's a one-line sort of. He's a joke guy, and I won't say his name because I don't want to.
People called me a thief for a long time for doing exactly what you're about to do.
No.
so
I'm
how
going to
about
say there's a comic in London. I won't say his name because maybe he doesn't want me to tell this story, so I'm going to keep it as a, you know. But he got employed to do Ronnie Wood's daughter's wedding, right?
As a comic?
As a comic.
Oh,
right?
What a horrible gig! But
Right.
you can't turn it down.
Can't turn it down, right? So,
and
and also, I don't want to name him because I might get a couple of these facts slightly wrong.
Right. I think you had the big one right.
Yeah, but
the comic has to play Ron Wood's daughter's wedding.
Wood's daughter's wedding.
Oh, my daughter's
And
wedding.
this was at this bit where Ronnie Wood had just fucking started dating a 19-year-old girl and he'd fallen off the wagon like a few years back. Remember that?
Yeah.
Right? So Ronnie Wood's off the wagon and fucking getting wasted. And he's meant to do this set, and this guy's a little bit neurotic, and he's standing up the back going, oh, fucking Ronnie Wood, fucking. And they go, we'll do the speeches, and you can come on afterwards, right, and do a set. He's like, all right, cool. So the speeches start, people start talking, and then David Bowie and Clapton decide to do an impromptu set together.
Nice.
Right? So he's sitting there going, and not to be outdone by fucking them, the Stones get up and start performing at this wedding.
Shit.
Right? He's sitting at the back. Now he has to follow Eric Clapton, David Bowie, and the Stones. And he's just fucking panicking, right? And this goes on forever and ever. And he's just gone outside. He can't even watch the gig anymore. The best gig ever, and he can't fucking watch it. Right? And then someone else gets up and does some big fucking thing, right? He's standing outside, and Ronnie Wood comes outside for a smoke, and he's fucking wasted. And my mate goes up and goes, look, I just want to talk to you about this gig. And then Ronnie Wood wasted goes, oh, you were great, man.
Nice.
He left it. He never performed there and got paid.
He got paid?
Yeah.
You were great, man. His daughter's wedding. With that fucking cool rooster hair that only Brits have. Like Rod Stewart, Ron Wood, Mick Taylor, Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, everyone from the Faces, Ronnie Lane. Every Brit has that like natural rooster hairdo that looks great. And if you're an American with that hair, you look like a lesbian.
Yeah.
And here in England,
and there's guys just in the street with that haircut in the UK.
just rockers and mods, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Just getting it to get. Bowie does not have that hair.
I know comedians
Bowie's got
who have
the.
that. Well, Russell Brand does that hair every now and again.
But I think he has to work on it. Ronnie Wood just rolls out of bed.
Yeah, he's
Keith Richards has like snakes and shit in his hair.
Russell puts a lot of effort into his. Did I ever tell you my Russell Brand Noel Gallagher story?
No, but goddamn, I want Russell Brand on this fucking podcast.
He's a good guy, man. Russell,
love the guy.
So Russell, he got done for. We didn't get done. What he did was he had sex with a girl called Georgina Bailey. And I can say names in this story because it's all in the media. And he had sex with Georgina Bailey. Now Georgina Bailey is not a wilting flower. She's a girl from a dance troupe in London called the Satanic Sluts, who she gets blood poured on her and shit at heavy metal concerts.
I figured what better way to spread collective consciousness and raise the awareness of love around us than make love to a satanic slut.
Exactly.
Well,
But
Jim.
the big kicker of this girl is she's Manuel from Fawlty Towers' granddaughter.
All right.
Right? And
So she's royalty. She's
Andrew
comedic
Sachs,
royalty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
comedic royalty, right? Now, he fucked her, and then he went on his radio show and rang up Manuel from Fawlty Towers. And
This was in his book. I remember this.
and left voice messages on his phone saying, I fucked your granddaughter. Not good fun, but he did it with Jonathan Ross, who's the equivalent of David Letterman
Yeah.
in the UK.
Who, by the way, has never aged a day.
Yeah.
Jonathan Ross.
And so Jonathan Ross got suspended from his TV show for a month, right? And Russell got fired from the BBC. And then he came out here and decided to become a movie star. Probably best thing that ever happened to him.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And he had sex with a satanic slut.
Covered in blood. Cut to 5 years earlier. I fucked her at the Edinburgh Festival when she was performing in a play with her grandfather. Back then she was 17 years old. I didn't know. I met her in a bar. But it's also, may I add, that that's legal in the UK. That's age of consent, so I didn't do anything wrong. I did ply her full of ecstasy, so I'm no fucking... But not like I didn't drug her, but we were taking ecstasy all night. Anyway, right. And
then you got on a plane with a guy with a military.
Yeah, and then I had sex with her. And anyway, she told me. So I told everyone in the comedy community that I fucked Manuel from Fawlty Towers' granddaughter. This was common knowledge in the stand-up world.
But you were never shagger of the year.
But I never rang him up or anything. It was just in our little community, right? So this news comes out. They start ringing comics, especially dirty comics like myself, up for, do you think that comedy can go too far? Do you think that he went too far in this incident?
This is in England? They're ringing.
This is in England, right? I'm still living out there. And I just said nothing, and then the phone call came. So we hear that you had sex with Georgina Bailey as well, all right? And then one comic obviously let it slip somewhere, and now I'm just fucking inundated with this shit, right?
This is after Russell broke.
This is after Russell, and it's 5 years later for me, right? And so I'm just lying, just saying I don't know what you're talking about, whatever, right? Because I didn't want to be roped into this fucking thing. Anyway, cut to another 2 years later. I'm in the Groucho bar in London, which is like Soho House, like an exclusive members thing. About 2 a.m. I'm off my tits, like just drunk. I'm not on drugs or anything, but I'm super drunk. It's like 3 a.m. Russell Brand walks in and he's all, oh, hello, hello. And I met Russell before he was famous doing stand-up. And I went up to him and I said, Russell, he goes, oh, Jim Jefferies, what a pleasure to see you again. And I went, oh, cool, he remembers my name. That's nice, right? And I said, Russell, and he's like completely sober. I said, Russell, you owe me an apology after you had sex with Manuel's granddaughter. I had sex with her years earlier. And he went, oh, wasn't she grubby? She needed a wash, didn't she? And
I love Russell.
And so we chatted. We compared notes.
Wasn't she grubby? Needed a wash.
And so we compared notes, and we had a bit of a laugh about it, and everything was fine, right? And he was actually like looking at me like, you're really drunk, Jim, type of a look, right? Anyway, Noel Gallagher from Oasis walks in. I'm a huge Oasis fan. I've seen him live like 10 times. I fucking love Oasis. They're like, him and Russell Brand are best friends.
Yeah.
And so he's walked up to Russell, they've hugged each other, and now I'm standing in a group with Russell Brand and Noel Gallagher, and I'm in this group thinking, all right.
Where's the paparazzi when you need them?
No, we're inside the club, right?
Right, but still.
Right, so we're in there, and I'm thinking, this is okay, right? And fucking, and then I'm just sort of smiling and grinning like an idiot. Noel and Russell are talking for a bit, and then Noel sort of, because he's staying there, went, who's this guy? And then Russell went, oh, I'm ever so sorry. This is the wonderful Jim Jefferies, right? Gave me a big superlative sort of welcome with his arms flailing around. And then Noel Gallagher shakes my hand and goes, hey, what do you do? And I went, I fucked Manuel's granddaughter as well. I could have said I'm a comic, I know Russell, whatever, but my brain was just in this little... And the first thing that came out, and then the look of disappointment where he went, oh, it's good. And then the two of them very gently turned their backs to me over the course of the next minute. And I stood there going, well, I'll just be over there. I'll go get a drink. Good speaking to you guys. It's one of these things, things in life when you're having a good time, you're at the park with your kid or whatever, and everything's good. And then your brain just goes, hey, remember when you made your dick out of yourself in front of Noel Gallagher? And your body just slightly shivers where you go, oh, fuck. It comes up about once a month.
And you're a huge, as you said, Oasis, that's like your touchstone. Band. That's your band. Now, Noel's a big drinker, right?
I think he was off the booze then as well.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Liam still drinks, but
Liam's an animal.
Yeah, they all went through the whole thing. I've met Liam as well. He was a more interesting character.
And him and his wife, Patsy Kinsett at the time.
Yeah.
Like, I think she was kind of like, I don't know this. I think she was a sort of straight arrow, and then when they hooked up, she just went down the goddamn rabbit hole.
She also had a kid with the guy from Simple Minds, but then
oof.
But the thing about Liam has a kid with her, which Lennon is the kid there, and then then he had a kid, like an illegitimate child, with an Italian model that he doesn't sort of acknowledge. Then he got together with one of the girls from All Saints, and he's been with her for about sort of 15 years, and he had a son called Gene. And then just last month, he got an American VJ, like someone off MTV, pregnant after an interview. and so he's out of that.
Mics.
He's out of that house now. So he's got 4 kids to 4 different women, and now he's fucking he
named his kid Lennon. Do you think 15 years from now there's going to be a bunch of kids named Grohl walking around?
My son's middle name's Lennon.
Lennon.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like that's the homage. That's the respect to the Beatles.
I wouldn't make his first name, but my son's middle name's Lennon. Yeah.
Right, but I'm saying, like, do you think there's going to be like, this is my son Hetfield?
Was Dylan a name before Dylan?
Oh, it's the most precious name on earth, Dylan. Everybody's got a Dylan.
Yeah, but was Dylan prevalent before Bob Dylan, or was that from Bob Dylan?
No, that's everybody names their kid Dylan. The big ones are Dylan for Bob Dylan, Lennon, and
I haven't met many Lennons.
I get a lot of.
I call a kid Harrison.
I've seen a lot of Harrisons.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of Harrisons at the play groups.
Yeah,
and I've seen.
Is there a lot of Lennons kicking about?
Yeah, a few, not a lot, not as many as Harrisons, but what's what I'm trying to get? A lot of the kid from Catcher in the Rye,
Mark Chapman.
A lot of Mark. This is my son, Mark David Chapman. Now that would be a parent. I used to
have this column in the UK in Zoo magazine, which was like it shows fucking girls' tits type of thing. And I wrote a column about all the Beatles kids decided to make a band together. So Sean Lennon and Paul McCartney's kid and fucking Danny Harrison and Zach Starkey decided they'd form a band.
Did this really happen?
This really happened a couple of years back, and they did a couple of gigs around London and gave it a go. And I said, "Oh, geez, I hope Mark Chapman didn't have a son."
Oh my God! It's fucking Holden is the kid from Catcher in the Rye, the lead main character.
Holden.
I see a lot of Dennis Miller's kid. I think.
Well, see, this is the thing. Holden's a brand of car in Australia.
Really?
You couldn't get away with calling a kid Holden.
It's my son Cadillac.
Yeah.
I would name my kid Escalade. Huh?
Kia.
It's the number one brand of car in Australia. There's Holdens and Fords are the thing.
Holdens.
But they're about to shut down. They're about to bring Chevy into Australia. This is a boring conversation. But
no, I don't think so. I don't think the listeners think so either.
Yeah, but that's...
Fergie and Josh Duhamel named their son Axel for Axl Rose because she loves Axl Rose. I don't think Josh really had a say in that.
I'd call a kid Axel.
You would?
Yeah.
But not after Axl Rose.
No, just after...
This is my son
just after my car again.
Axel. Yeah. I would think Josh Duhamel would go like, maybe like a family name, like James or John or Paul or something.
The weird thing is, everyone would name their kids Harrison or Lennon, but you only ever name a dog Ringo.
I got to imagine Fergie had to sit down with Josh Duhamel and say, "You don't understand how important Axl Rose is to me in my musical journey."
There must be like a moment where he looked at her and went, "I guess you're named after a fat British redhead."
Yeah.
So that's weird enough.
Fergie. Hello, Fergie, darling. And this, of course, is the mellifluous Jim Jefferies.
Yeah.
I love the wave of the hands as you're doing Russell Brand. Legit is on FXX. There's two FXs. Get the one with the extra X because it's Jim's FXX. Wednesday, 10 o'clock. February 22nd is the premiere.
We're paired up with the new Ali G show.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah?
Is he on before you or after you?
He's after us with a lead-in.
That's a great hour of TV, man. I can't wait for that show. And here's the thing, too. All these networks, they have like a social media expert all over it. So tweet the shit out of the fact that you're watching Legit.
FXX is going to become like... it just bought The Simpsons for like $1 billion.
Yeah.
It's going to have all back catalogue, all the new episodes, only The Simpsons on that channel. So it's basically I'm on The Simpsons channel.
That's fine. But I'm telling the listeners, when you watch Legit, make sure does Legit have a Twitter